Have you ever noticed how the loudest voices in the room often have the least to show for it? How people who constantly talk about their goals, their dreams, and their next big move rarely seem to get anywhere? That's because real success doesn't come from making noise, it comes from making moves. Silent, strategic, and unstoppable moves. Think about the most successful people you know. They don't waste their breath telling the world what they're going to do. They don't seek approval, validation, or permission. Instead, they operate in silence, working behind the scenes, building something powerful while everyone else is busy talking. And then, when the time is right, they emerge. Not with words, but with results. Today, I want to show you the power of silent moves. Not just why they work, but how you can apply them in your own life. We're going to expose the common mistake of oversharing, the hidden strength in restraint, and the way keeping your plans to yourself can transform your future. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need to know your next move. It just needs to see it. So if you're ready to take control of your success, if you're ready to stop talking and start doing, then listen closely. Because this might be the most important strategy you'll ever learn. Let me ask you something. What if your next move could remain your secret weapon? What if, instead of announcing your plans, you simply worked on them in silence until they were undeniable? See, there's something powerful about moving quietly. It's like planting seeds in rich soil, letting them take root and grow before anyone even knows they exist. When you keep your goals to yourself, you protect them. You shield them from doubt, from interference, from the negative energy of people who might not believe in you. The mistake most people make is thinking that talking about their goals makes them real. But words are not action. Announcing your plans doesn't make them happen. It only exposes them to outside forces. It invites opinions, distractions, and sometimes even sabotage. The truth is, silence is a strength. When you move in silence, you control the narrative. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to prove anything. You simply do the work, and when the time is right, you let your success speak for itself. So the next time you feel the urge to share your plans, ask yourself, who benefits from knowing? If the answer isn't you, then keep it to yourself. Because in the game of success, the quietest moves often lead to the loudest results. Do you know the fastest way to kill a dream? Tell it to the wrong person. Oversharing is a trap. It feels good in the moment, talking about your goals, getting that little boost of excitement when people react. But what happens next? Suddenly, you're under pressure. People start asking, how's that going? Have you done it yet? And if you hit a roadblock, that same audience is now watching your struggle. Not only that, but sharing your plans too soon invites doubt. It opens the door for negativity. People will question you, challenge you, and sometimes even hope you fail. And whether you realize it or not, their words stick. They plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind. And let's be honest, sometimes people don't want you to succeed. Not everyone claps when you win. Some will smile to your face, but secretly hope you stumble. That's why silence is your shield. Keeping your moves to yourself isn't about secrecy, it's about protection. Think of it like building a fire. If you pour water on it before it can catch, you'll never see it burn. But if you guard it, let it grow in the right conditions, it will become unstoppable. So ask yourself, are you building quietly, or are you putting out your own fire before it even starts? Your moves are like seeds. If you plant them in the open, exposed to the elements, they may never grow. But if you place them deep in rich soil, nurture them with patience and effort, they will flourish when the time is right. Keeping your plans under wraps doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means you're playing the long game. It means you're allowing your ideas to grow without interference. It means you're giving yourself time to build, adjust, and refine without the weight of outside opinions. Think about the most successful people in history. They didn't broadcast their every step. They didn't seek applause along the way. They worked, they built, and when they finally revealed their success, the world had no choice but to take notice. This is how you create unstoppable growth. Not by talking about what you're going to do, but by silently doing it. Not by seeking validation, but by proving yourself through action. So today, make a decision. Choose silence over spectacle. Choose strategy over exposure. Let your work grow beneath the surface, and when it's ready, let the world see what you've built. Because the strongest roots grow in silence, and the greatest victories are made long before they're ever seen. Silence is strength. Let that sink in. Not weakness, not fear, strength. In a world that pressures you to speak up, to prove yourself, to constantly share your next move, choosing silence is a radical act of power. It's an armor that shields you from doubts, distractions, and the unnecessary weight of outside opinions. Think about it. Every time you share your plans, you invite outside voices into your head. Some will cheer you on, but others, they'll question you, they'll challenge you, they'll plant seeds of doubt before you even get started. And whether you realize it or not, their words affect you, but when you keep your goals to yourself, you protect them. You give them space to grow without interference. You build resilience because your progress isn't dependent on applause, approval, or validation. Imagine silence as a shield, an invisible force field around your dreams. The less you reveal, the less people can attack. The less they know, the less they can interfere. Your silence isn't just about secrecy, it's about survival. And here's the truth. The most powerful people in any room aren't the loudest. They're the ones who observe, who calculate, who move with precision. They understand that speaking too soon dilutes their power. So ask yourself, are you protecting your vision or are you handing it over for the world to judge? Are you letting others shape your confidence or are you forging it in silence? Your silence is your strength. Wear it like armor. Let it protect your path, because when the time comes to reveal your success, the world won't see the process, they'll only see the results. Let me tell you something, confidence isn't about talking, it's about knowing. The people who constantly announce their plans, who seek approval before they even begin, are usually the ones who never follow through. Why? Because they're relying on external validation to fuel their actions. But true confidence doesn't come from words, it comes from action. And action thrives in silence. Think about the greatest success stories, the innovators, the game changers, the visionaries. They didn't waste time explaining themselves. They moved, they built, they executed. And when they finally stepped forward, they had something undeniable to show for it. Silence eliminates unnecessary pressure. The moment you speak your goals out loud, you create expectations. People start watching, judging, waiting to see if you succeed or fail. And if you stumble, that same audience that once cheered you on will be the first to question you. But when you operate in silence, the only expectations that exist are the ones you set for yourself. There's no pressure to prove anything, no noise distracting you, no outside forces swaying your confidence. Silence allows you to focus. It sharpens your mind. It forces you to trust yourself instead of looking for reassurance. So ask yourself, do you want confidence that lasts, or do you want temporary approval? Do you want real power or just the illusion of it? Because real confidence doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It just needs action. Silence isn't just a tool, it's a strategy, a mindset, a way of life that builds power from the inside out. When you embrace silence, you gain control. Control over your focus, control over your emotions, control over your energy. It keeps you from wasting time explaining yourself to people who don't matter. It saves you from draining conversations that lead nowhere. It spares you from defending your dreams to people who are never meant to understand them. Think of silent determination like an engine. It doesn't make noise when it's idle. It doesn't announce when it's about to start. But when the moment comes, it moves with unstoppable force. That's what you're building in silence. Unshakable, undeniable power. And here's the truth most people don't realize. When you finally succeed, when you finally achieve what you set out to do, the world will forget they ever doubted you. The critics will disappear. The questions will stop. And all that will remain is what you've built. So don't waste your energy explaining. Don't exhaust yourself seeking approval. Don't hand over your power just to satisfy someone else's curiosity. Move in silence, stay focused. Let your results do the talking. Because the strongest forces in this world, the ones that truly change everything, don't announce themselves. They simply arrive. Let me ask you something. If you were in a battle, would you announce your strategy to the enemy before making your move? Of course not. Yet, that's exactly what people do when they reveal their plans too soon. They expose their position before they even have a solid defense. Oversharing weakens you. The moment you tell the world what you're about to do, you invite opinions, expectations, and distractions. Suddenly your idea is no longer yours. It belongs to the court of public opinion, where everyone feels entitled to judge, criticize, or even steal it. And let's be real, not everyone listening to you wants to see you succeed. Some will smile to your face, but secretly hope you fail. Some will nod in agreement while planting doubt in your mind. Every comment, every sideways glance, every subtle question, those things add up. They chip away at your confidence. They make you second guess yourself before you've even started. The worst part, when you tell people your plans, you trick yourself into feeling like you've already accomplished something. Talking about your goals gives you a quick hit of excitement, a false sense of progress. But that feeling fades, and now you've wasted time explaining instead of executing. Your goals don't need an audience, they need action. So ask yourself, are you strengthening your position, or are you leaving yourself wide open? Are you building in silence, or are you handing your power over to people who may not even deserve to hear your plans? In life, your success will always be safer in the shadows until it's fully formed. Protect it. Move in silence. And when the time is right, let your results do the talking. Why do people overshare? Simple. They want approval. They want recognition. They want to feel like they're on the right path before they've even taken the first step. But here's the problem. When you rely on external validation, you hand over control of your motivation. You become dependent on the opinions of others instead of developing the discipline to push forward on your own. Think about it. Every time you announce your plans and someone gives you praise, it feels good, right? It's like a quick boost of confidence. But what happens when the praise stops? What happens when people don't react the way you expected? If you've trained yourself to rely on external approval, you'll feel stuck, doubt creeps in, motivation fades, and suddenly what once felt like a powerful goal starts to feel like an obligation to prove something to others. Instead, instead of meaningful attention is the most productive action calculated, you become more concerned with how you look than with what you're actually building. And this is where people failed, not because their goals weren't possible, but because they got distracted by applause that never really mattered in the first place. The truth is, you don't need anyone's approval to make your next move. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. What you need is focus. What you need is quiet, disciplined action. So stop looking for validation. Stop explaining yourself to people who won't contribute to your success. Stop allowing the need for recognition to weaken your resolve. Because real success isn't built on external praise. It's built on the relentless, silent work that nobody sees. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Not everyone needs access to your plans. Too many people fail not because they lack talent, effort, or potential, but because they allowed too many voices into their process. They let outside noise interfere with their vision. So how do you protect yourself? How do you reclaim your power and ensure that only the right energy surrounds you? First, be selective about who you share with. If someone isn't actively helping you move forward, they don't need to know your plans. Keep your circle tight. Guard your ideas like a priceless investment. Second, stop explaining yourself. You don't owe anyone a play-by-play of your progress. You don't need to justify why you're working in silence. You don't need to reassure people who aren't walking in your shoes. Third, trust the process. Some of the greatest success stories started with quiet determination. They weren't announced, they weren't debated, they were built brick by brick without unnecessary distractions. So I'll ask you, are you protecting your vision, or are you letting the world poke holes in it? Are you moving with purpose, or are you wasting time defending decisions that don't need defending? Isn't it time you protected your dreams from unnecessary scrutiny? Because here's the truth, your vision is yours, your path is yours. And the less interference you allow, the stronger you'll become. Move in silence. Stay focused. And when you finally arrive at your destination, the world will have no choice but to respect what you've built. Success isn't about noise, it's about resilience. The ability to stand firm when no one is clapping. The ability to keep going when doubt creeps in, when setbacks come, when the world remains silent. Silent achievers don't rely on external praise to validate their journey. They don't need an audience to fuel their ambition. Instead, they cultivate inner strength, an unshakable mindset that thrives in quiet determination. Think of your mind like a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the environment, shifting based on external conditions, but a thermostat, it sets the temperature, it controls the atmosphere, it decides what happens next. That's the mindset of a silent achiever. They don't react to opinions, trends, or distractions. They set their own pace, they dictate their own success. This level of resilience isn't built overnight. It's developed in the moments when no one is watching. When you push through difficulty without broadcasting your struggle. When you choose discipline over comfort. When you refuse to let outside voices dictate your path. Most people crumble under pressure because they never learned how to rely on themselves. They need applause, they need approval, they need reassurance. But silent achievers, they don't wait for permission. They don't seek validation, they just do the work. So ask yourself, are you setting the temperature of your life, or are you letting the world control it for you? Are you reacting, or are you leading? Because success doesn't come to those who wait for applause. It comes to those who wait for applause. It comes to those who build quietly with unwavering resilience. Discipline isn't about motivation, it's about consistency. It's about showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not, and the most disciplined people don't make noise about it. They just do it. Look at the people who talk the most about their plans, the ones who post every small step, who constantly seek validation, who need everyone to know they're grinding. More often than not, they never follow through because their fuel isn't discipline, it's attention. And attention fades. Silent achievers don't waste time proving they're working, they just work. While others are busy talking, they're busy executing. And when they finally reveal what they've built, it's too late for anyone to question them. Let me ask you something. Are you more focused on progress or perception? Are you moving in silence, or are you too distracted making sure people see your effort? Discipline means trusting the process even when no one is watching. It means doing what needs to be done without broadcasting it. It means keeping your head down and staying focused regardless of who's paying attention, because in the end, results speak louder than words. And disciplined silence, it drowns out the noise of empty talk every single time. Here's the truth. If your motivation depends on other people noticing your effort, you'll never make it far. Silent achievers understand that real success starts from within. They don't need an audience. They don't need praise. They don't need permission. They are powered by something deeper, an internal fire that doesn't burn out when the world isn't watching. Think of your motivation like an engine. The strongest engines don't make noise until they're in motion. They build power silently, storing energy, preparing for the moment they unleash it. But most people, they burn out before they even start. They spend all their energy talking about what they're going to do instead of actually doing it. And when the excitement fades, so does their drive. Silent achievers operate differently. They build in the dark. They fuel themselves with quiet resolve. And by the time the world sees their success, it's already too late to stop them. So stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop seeking approval before you take action. Stop letting outside opinions dictate your momentum, because the only motivation that lasts is the one that comes from within. Move in silence. Work relentlessly. And when the time is right, let your results speak for themselves. Why reveal your strategy when secrecy breeds success? The greatest victories in history weren't won by those who announced their every move. They were won by those who moved with precision, patience, and silence. If you want to outmaneuver your competition, your greatest weapon isn't loud ambition, it's controlled execution. Think of strategy like a game of chess. The best players don't telegraph their moves. They don't warn their opponent of their next attack. Instead, they move quietly, setting up their advantage piece by piece until checkmate is inevitable. In the real world, the same principle applies. The moment you start revealing your plans, you give others time to prepare, time to counter, and sometimes time to steal what you are about to create. Silence keeps you ahead. It ensures that by the time the world sees your progress, you've already secured your position. While others are busy copying, questioning, or doubting, you're already winning. So ask yourself, do you want to make noise or do you want to make history? Because those who truly dominate don't announce their success in advance. They build in silence and reveal only when victory is undeniable. Real respect isn't given to those who talk about their plans. is given to those who execute them. People admire results, not announcements. They respect action, not empty promises. If you want to be taken seriously, stop talking about what you're going to do and start showing what you've done. Look at the most respected leaders, innovators, and high achievers. They don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't seek approval before they act. They move with quiet confidence, allowing their work to prove their worth. The loudest person in the room rarely holds the most power. True authority is built through consistency, execution, and discipline. It's the person who works in silence, who delivers without unnecessary theatrics, who commands the most respect. So the next time you feel the urge to announce your next big move, stop and ask yourself, what do I gain from talking about it? Wouldn't it be better to let my results speak for me? Because in the end, it's not about how many people know your plans. It's about how many people respect your results. There's a reason surprise attacks win battles. There's a reason unexpected moves catch the competition off guard. Silence isn't just a strategy, it's an advantage. When you keep your plans to yourself, you maintain control. You create an element of unpredictability. You give yourself the space to refine your ideas, shift directions when needed, and strike at the perfect moment without interference. Think of your progress like an underground river. While others see stillness on the surface, beneath, you're building momentum. You're carving a path. And when the time is right, you break through, unstoppable and undeniable. Many people lose before they even begin because they announce their goals too soon. They allow others to interfere, to place obstacles in their way, to dilute their original vision. But those who move in silence, they navigate freely, they control their own timing, and when they finally emerge, no one can stop them. So embrace the power of hidden moves. Let your work develop in the shadows. Let your silence create an advantage no one saw coming, because when your success arrives unannounced, there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Success isn't built on motivation, it's built on discipline. And if you want to master the power of silent moves, you must first master the discipline to stay quiet, stay consistent, and stay focused. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that silence is passive. It's not. It's active, intentional, and strategic. To move in silence, you need an unbreakable routine, one that keeps you locked in on progress without the distraction of unnecessary validation. Forge your routine now. Create habits that strengthen your focus. Wake up with a plan. Set your priorities before the world has a chance to interrupt you. Train yourself to work without needing external approval. Most people fail because they seek excitement instead of consistency. They get hyped about a new goal, talk about it endlessly, but never build the structure to sustain it. Silent achievers operate differently. They don't chase hype, they chase results. And results come from routine. Discipline isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about showing up daily, whether you feel like it or not. It's about doing the work in the dark so that when the spotlight finally hits, you're already 10 steps ahead. So ask yourself, are you waiting for motivation, or are you forging the discipline that guarantees success? Because only one of those will carry you to the finish line. Can you afford another distraction? Every time you talk about your plans, you lose a little bit of momentum. You invite outside opinions, unnecessary pressure, and subtle doubts that chip away at your confidence. That's why the ability to stay silent isn't just about secrecy, it's about control. Impulse sharing is a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. Train yourself to resist the urge. When you feel the need to announce your progress, pause. Ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Is it for my growth, or is it for approval? Think of your silence like a fortress. The stronger your walls, the less interference you allow. Every time you choose restraint, you reinforce that structure. Every time you keep your focus internal, you protect your power. Discipline means mastering the art of patience. It means recognizing that true progress happens behind closed doors, in the hours of unseen effort, in the quiet moments of relentless work. So the next time you feel the need to broadcast your next move, stop, hold back. Let the world wonder what you're building, because the less they know, the more unstoppable you become. Small daily actions create unstoppable momentum. It's not the big flashy moments that define success, it's the quiet, consistent effort that no one sees. Silent achievers understand that success is a long game. They don't get distracted by temporary highs. They don't seek quick validation. They commit to daily discipline, knowing that every step, no matter how small, adds up over time. Think of a tree growing underground. For months, maybe years, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading, strengthening, preparing. And when it finally breaks through the soil, it's not weak, it's unshakable. That's what daily discipline does for you. It builds a foundation so strong that when you finally emerge, nothing can stop you. So commit. Stay consistent, move in silence, and when your time comes, let the results speak for themselves. There's a world of difference between talking about what you're going to do and actually doing it. Let's make one thing clear. Actions always speak louder than words. The people who talk the most about their dreams, their goals, and their future achievements are often the ones who never make it past the planning stage. They get stuck in the noise of their own promises, building nothing but empty declarations. But the true winners, they don't waste time talking. They don't need to announce their every move. They let their accomplishments do the talking for them. Imagine two people. One spends their time telling everyone what they're going to do, seeking validation, sharing every little step. The other keeps their plans close, works relentlessly behind the scenes, and when they finally reveal their success, it's undeniable. The first person may get some attention along the way, but when it's all said and done, what will they have to show for it? Words. Maybe some applause, but no real victory. The second person, they built something that lasts. Their success is tangible, measurable, and impossible to ignore. And when they speak, they don't need to say much. Their results speak for themselves. So ask yourself, do you want to build credibility through words or through what you actually accomplish? Because the only way to earn respect is through action, not promises. How many people have you heard say, I'm going to change the world? How many of them actually do it? Success isn't about making grandiose declarations. It's about doing the work, staying silent, and letting your results build credibility for you. Think about some of the most impactful figures in history. Did they spend their time talking about what they would do? No, they spent their time doing. Their work was their message, and when they finally revealed the fruits of their labor, the world stood in awe. Measurable success doesn't need an introduction. It doesn't need anyone to sell it. It doesn't need to be announced. It simply stands on its own, and when people see it, they can't help but take notice. Take athletes, for example. They don't spend their time telling everyone how hard they're training. During life, you make through specification and just focused and without real impact isn't made through talk. The real impact isn't made through talk. It's thinker and expression and exercise and it's made through quiet action that produces undeniable results. There's power in quiet success. When you allow your results to speak for you, you free yourself from the need to justify, explain, or defend your path. You stop seeking approval and validation from others. Instead, you focus on the work, the journey, and the growth that happens when no one is watching. The journey of silent achievers is often the most rewarding. They don't need the world to cheer them on. They don't need external recognition every step of the way. They build, they refine, they move forward. And when the time comes for them to reveal their success, it's clear they've done the work. Your accomplishments should be the loudest thing about you. You don't need to announce every move or seek constant recognition. Your success will testify to your efforts, your discipline, and your persistence. So let's wrap this up with a simple truth. Let your results do the talking. Stop explaining, stop announcing, stop seeking validation. Your journey is your own, and the success that follows will speak for itself. What's louder, your words or your actions? Let your actions be the answer. Are you ready to harness the power of silence? To step into a world where your actions speak louder than any words ever could? If you've been listening closely, you now know that silence isn't a weakness. It's the foundation of unstoppable success. Every successful journey starts with the decision to stop talking and start doing. Throughout this journey, we've explored how silence can become your greatest asset. It's not just about holding back your words. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows you to focus, stay disciplined, and execute your vision without the interference of external chatter. First, we discovered that silence shields you from unnecessary distractions and criticism. By withholding your plans, you protect them, allowing them to grow and develop away from prying eyes. Your silence becomes your armor, and your actions become your weapon. Next, we learn the importance of inner resilience. Silent achievers don't rely on external validation. They've built a mindset that thrives in quiet strength. They are their own biggest supporters, trusting in their own abilities without needing the world's approval. We then saw how discipline and consistency fuel success. The power of a disciplined routine is unmatched. It keeps you on track, focused, and moving forward, even when no one is watching. And in this discipline, you find the key to breaking through barriers and achieving things others only dream of. Finally, we discussed the undeniable impact of results. The most successful people don't waste time telling the world what they're going to do. They do the work, and the results speak for themselves. Now it's time for you to step into this world. The power of silence lies within your ability to act without needing to explain yourself. It's about focusing on progress, not validation. Your success will speak louder than any words ever could. So ask yourself, are you ready to embrace silence as your strategy for success? Are you ready to let your actions do the talking? Because the time for words has passed. Now it's time for results. Begin now. Don't wait another moment. The journey of silent success begins with one crucial step: the decision to stop talking and start doing. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You don't need anyone to validate your journey. All you need is the commitment to act. Start by creating your plan and then keep it to yourself. Focus on execution. Build a routine that reinforces your discipline. Wake up every day with purpose and commit to your success without needing anyone else to recognize your effort. It's time to break free from the need to seek validation. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Keep your goals close and let them drive you. Your future depends on the steps you take today, not on the conversations you have tomorrow. Set your sights on the end result, not on the praise you might get along the way. Every small action, no matter how insignificant it might seem, is a step toward your ultimate success. Let silence become your ally. Let action be your voice. And when your triumphs unfold, let them speak louder than any announcement ever could. The time to act is now. Make your move. Don't wait. The world is waiting for you to show up, and your success is waiting for you to make it happen. Imagine a future where your success speaks for itself, where your achievements are so undeniable that no one can question your journey. A future where your name is associated not with promises, but with results. This is the power of moving in silence. It's not about immediate recognition. It's about creating something that lasts. The loudest testament to your success is the legacy you build, not the noise you make along the way. Think about the greats, the visionaries, the leaders, the innovators. They didn't need to announce their success. They didn't need anyone to validate their efforts. They built quietly, and when their success was revealed, it was already too late for anyone to stop them. Now, picture your own future. Imagine walking into rooms where people already know your name. Not because you've talked about what you're going to do, but because you've already done it. Your work, your success will be your loudest statement. This is the revolution that silence creates. It's a revolution that empowers you to move forward without needing anyone's permission. It's a revolution that puts the power back in your hands, where it belongs. The question is, will you let your success speak for you? Will you step into a future where your actions are the loudest voice you ever need? The time is now. The world is waiting for your silent revolution. And when it comes, it will be impossible to ignore.